Good evening, folks. So, um, I allowed one of you to coerce me into doing a video on Tiny Mustache Man. I think I've really touched on these topics when I addressed, quote, certain sort of nationalism, but I guess I'll do a video that's really regarding him. And I'm not going to go into all the details of why he was really just a tool at the time. I think Jay Dyer's and many other people are doing a lot of work, I guess, regarding that. What I'm going to talk about is, of course, I'm going to tell you about the basics. I really want to talk about the rise of this ideology in America as we're seeing today, and whether that's going to be a problem or not. So, before we begin, we're going to call Tiny Mustache Man in this video. We're going to call him Tim. Okay, Tiny Mustache Man, Tim. Okay, we're gonna call the group of people who starts with the letter J. We're gonna call them the Kikis, and we're gonna call the idea of Tim uh, N. Okay, I don't want to get demonetized, so here we go. So we should all know that this guy is not really what he seemed to be to certain people. And before we discuss why certain people think he is their hero or idol, um, just so the audience know, and by the way, you can look all this up. Tim, okay, was working with the West on helping Israel, establishing Israel, well, Israel, those Israel at the time. And he was funded by the Bank of England, and then they were helping him pretty much laundering money all over the world. It's not just the Bank of England, by the way. It's also the American banks too. Citibank, I know was a big one. Back then they were called something else. I forgot what they were called. J.P. Morgan too. J.P. Morgan also worked with the National Communists in Germany. Ford and General Motor, all these companies produced vehicles for German war effort at the time. Until, by the way, the we entered the war, of course. The deal with the quote the Kikis, okay, is that yes, he was trying to get to decrease the Kiki population in Germany. And by the way, the Aryan stuff, those of you who don't know, the Aryan stuff is actually not invented by Tim. It was invented by his fanatic people, but that wasn't actually him. But he actually worked with the Kikis on helping them move to Israel, and he allowed them to pretty much fully utilize the German banking system to uh, to buy and sell German exports to enrich um, Israel. Okay, to send to the quote areas of Palestine. And between him and the Kikis at the time, it was actually a mutual beneficial relationship. Okay, it's a mutual beneficial relationship. And obviously, after he invented Poland, the West decided to pretty much turn on him. And at that point, he's like, okay, well, I mean, I got duped into this, so I guess pretty much by myself. And we just basically went from there. And for those people who are going to argue that, well, he did a good thing, he got him out of Germany. But let me ask you guys a question. I want you guys to think about this. If you think it's good that he got them out of Germany, so think about the Kikis, the amount of power that they can accumulate in somebody else's nation. Okay, think about that. And even Hitler had to make, oh, excuse me, Tim had to make concessions with the Kikis. What do you think the Kikis are going to do to the world? Okay, if you give them their own nation state. I mean, even the Brits were not that stupid. Those of you who read the Balfour Declaration, you knew that the Brits really had no intention on giving Israel independence because they knew, even the Brits knew what they were able to do. And Hitler, shit, Tim over here is just a tool. He doesn't really care. Didn't seem like he cared at the time. And it was only the dumb enough Americans who later on allowed the Kikis to establish their own state. Okay, and we actually helped the Kikis to expel the British influence in the Middle East. Yeah, those are all topics for, I guess, another day. Now let's talk about why this is rising in the United States. Okay. And I've mentioned the first reason multiple times because people have no faith and no principle. And this is easily demonstratable. For example, during Charlie Kirk's assassination, I spoke out against the idolization of the person. I said it sucks that someone was, murdered. It's political violence. And immediately, the certain people started, the usual people started to blame the Kikis, although there's really not much sign of the Kikis doing it. I do think it's an organic reaction to what the Kikis have been doing to in terms of brainwashing the youth. But obviously, this is the Kikis were definitely not directly involved in this. But of course, it's always the Kikis, right? But there are people even in Orthodoxy came out at the time who said, okay, well, he's a martyr, he's a saint. And I said, well, no, you can't apply standard of someone who's Orthodox who deceased in that manner to Charlie Kirk. And I was receiving a lot of backlashes, even along my own followers. And then, and by the way, I've been telling people he's an Israeli shell. And then guess what? When the bigger content creators started to talk about it, then okay, oh, then it's okay because it's fine. Being the underdog, this is what it is. Like when you say something controversial, everybody jumps on you, and someone who has more fame than you say the same shit, then it's all of a sudden okay. But that's fine. I'm not sour over that or anything. But there are people who were starting to call Charlie Kirk a saint. And I was pretty much opposing that. I was like, no, you can't make that decision. I mean, you don't even make that sort of claim with people within the faith, and you're making claims on people outside of the faith who actually has advocated for money to go to support a pretty demonic cause, right? So what's funny is the same people who would do this, even within Orthodoxy, are the same people who goes on Roman Catholic channels, some Roman, like say like a Roman Catholic befriends Orthodox, calls his brother or something, and they go on their channel and say, "Well, we worship the same God, dude. We don't. You're not even Christians." And it's the same fucking people, exact same people. Anyways, okay. I think the biggest issue is it's faithlessness, and it's um, uh, and it's really no other way to put this thing. Okay, I know some of you are expecting a more empirical answer to this. No, it's a complete spiritual issue. It's a lack of faith, and I guess if you want an empirical answer, I would say lack of brain cells because this guy is a tool. And by the way, he murdered 60 million Christians. So I don't know, man. Um, Probably not someone you should be looking up to, especially as a Christian or if you are, Orthodox Christian. So probably not the best idea to do that. Now, do I think this is going to go anywhere? No, um, because people are just angry. And like I said, this is actually a part of the Kiki plan to increase extremism. And I said at day one, okay, right after Charlie's assassination, as we really started to see this stuff spurg out. That's kind of like one of the breaking points. And then Jay Dyer actually said it 2 days ago on the stream that this could be people intentionally making people more extreme. I think that's the case. I think it's absolutely the case. Why? It's to create anarchy, it's to create chaos, it's to create violence, and it's all convenient to that group of people. Yes. And what's funny is that um, it's not just funny, it's actually sadistic, but to us, the Gentiles, right? Uh, we somehow, certain group of people, we don't see each other as equals, but the Kikis see all of us as equals, as equally stupid and deserving to be slaughtered, right? In that way, we are really falling behind the Kikis. Um, but I think this is clear that it's trying to create political extremism to promote violence and to destabilize society. And I call this stage two because stage one, they've already gained power, wealth, and money, and political influence. Now it's time to start to do things with those things they accumulated. And this is uh, organically stage two. Um, So why are they really worshiping this guy? I think it's because obviously the hatred of Kikis and the I guess just they just bought into the thrill of I guess in a way I don't want to say the G word, maybe the G word. Um, Not the case. And what's funny is these people, if you ask them, would you take 80% Mexican Catholics or 80% white Muslims? And by the way, this is the same group of people who spouts that, well, white culture, white European culture, they will always going to tell you without even thinking, they will take 80% white Muslims. Okay, so white Muslims, they do what? Well, Muslims doesn't matter what race they are. They GRAPE minors and women and do all sorts of disgusting stuff. But they'll have zero problem saying they'll take 80% Muslims. And by the way, this is the kill shot to any of these arguments because they will always say they want 80 or 90. They would prefer 80 or 90% Muslim, white Muslims over 80 to 90% Hispanic Catholics. Faithlessness. You see that? Okay, that's how I'm trying to demonstrate to you why I think that's the case. Okay. So they really have no principles. Okay. If they're okay with being Muslim, committing those horrendous acts just to, have the white element in there, then they're really worshiping their race. That's what it is. I don't know what else to tell you. And again, we're all creatures made for worship. You have to fill that gap with something. Okay. Your spirit is thirsting for God. But unfortunately, this is a godless society. This is really a godless country at this point. Hopefully we're changing that. But I mean, then what about like it's funny, like what about your priests who are Arabs? Right. And those of you who've seen the two clips of Jay Dyer talking to the interviewing the Gorilla Rapers, and none of them, all of them, pretty much know nothing about Tiny Mustache Man. They just like the G part of that part of the history. And those of you who don't know, I think not the Czechs, the the Slovaks. Was it the Slovaks or the Ustaše? I mean, they were under Tiny Mustache Man. How many Orthodox Christians they tortured? How many Orthodox Serbs did they kill? I mean, these people ran a concentration camp for children, and there were nuns in there killing children. I mean, this is the stuff that people idolize, and um, it's really grim. Really, it's grim. And what really sucks to hear is that some of those kids were who were there who's saying, "Well, do you one of the kid asked Jay Dyer, well, do you think Paul Miller's based? Like, can you guys not tell that these people are mentally ill?" I get it, it's funny, yeah, like I understand it's funny, but do you not understand that it's mental illness? Is that, I mean, like if you're pursuing orthodoxy, do you think that's what being treated? That's what a holy stage look like? Think about it. And you don't need to go on the internet and ask people like me or Jay Dyer whether someone's based or not. Go to your priest, which most of these people don't have one. Go to your spiritual father and show the clips to your spiritual father. Ask them if they think it's based or not. And if they say it's based, then I say it's based. Okay? How about that? Let's do it that way. Um, but there you go. But again, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. Okay, I think we could get a few more Peyton Gendrons or Dylan Roofs. I think that's about it. Okay, maybe we'll get one or two militia attacks. That's it. But I do think, though, I do think that in the next 20 or 30, excuse me, 15 to 20 years, we are going to see, or it could be way sooner than that, because I thought stuff like Charlie Kirk's assassination would have taken longer. But it seems like everything in our social lives is being delayed, and everything politically is being moved forward, which is a very scary dynamic to me personally. Um, we could see it way sooner. That's why I've been telling you guys to arm yourselves. Okay, get yourself kits, get trained, make sure you have ammunition. You got to protect yourself, but because think about it, if these lunatics do form a bandit, okay, and they go around and start killing people, you probably want to protect yourself, right? Because we're starting to see people in the military who shows these, signs of degeneracy. So I don't know. Um, it is definitely something to be aware of, but don't take it seriously. Okay. Um, anyways, last I want to address this white European issue. Okay, because it's to me it's very bizarre. And really this idea only exists in the United States, and it doesn't even exist in Europe or even other continents. Now, those of you who see my one of my past streams, I interviewed one of these uh, WP people who said that I'm white European, and we have the culture of the Roman Empire, which is white European. And I th I just don't understand. I mean, to someone who's dumb, who grew up in the South, I get it. But to Orthodox Christians, do you guys not see how stupid that is? Do you? It's a fallacy. It's the same thing, really, as Mormons going back in history and saying all the anti-Nicene fathers were all Mormons, reading Mormonism into the anti-Nicene fathers. It's the same thing, and it's annoying, but it's really dumb. Why? How are the and the Greco-Romans the same quote white European culture as the Anglo-Saxon white European culture? How is that in any ways the same? No, you guys should seriously go watch that stream I did. I think it's the first one where I actually dressed up. Go watch it and see how stupid that guy is. How's that the same culture? He thought the Roman Empire was prosperous because they had uh what racial purity. Do you people know how many Syrian or dark skin or Semitic, excuse me, Semitic Roman emperors, there were. Do you guys know that? And did you not know that the Romans and the Greeks didn't even have that identity? And today they don't even have the Greeks are, all my Greek friends or people living in Greece are honestly astonished why Americans are fucking obsessed with whether they're white Europeans or not, or they consider themselves as white European or not. They're Greeks. I mean, even in the Europe today, who are fighting against the Muslim onslaught, they're arguing that we are Scottish. We're not white European. We are Scottish. We are Irish. We are Swedish. Get the fuck out. That's what they're saying. Do you guys get it? They have an identity. They're not saying we're white Europeans. Get out. No, they're saying we are Scottish. We are um we're Irish or whatever. And if you zoom in Great Britain, they fucking hate each other. All those groups, quote, white Europeans. And anytime where I hear these people trying to claim the Roman Empire and the Renaissance, it's just I don't understand how uneducated you have to be to do that. The Renaissance, the only reason the Renaissance happened, by the way, for those of you who never heard me talk about this, it's because of the Muslim onslaught in the East, in which the Greeks and um, the Semites, who had to flee the East, they brought Greek to the West. It was only then the Westerners actually, you know, because after they were, they fought the barbarians after the Frankish took over. They can't even read Greek at the time. They had no patristic knowledge. That's why when the Roman Catholic Church, quote, Western Christianity was developing its doctrines post schism, it was always a fucking disaster because they were literally just reading the Greek. Why do you think Thomas Aquinas was an idiot? He destroyed Western Christianity because they were literally just beginning to study Greek. All the arts of the Renaissance, all those innovation, where do you think they came from? Though you think the Western barbarians who were just starting to be formally civilized, you think they just invented that shit because of their genetics? Seriously? No, it was because the East brought those things to the West that allowed it to happen. Where the I mean, even though, for example, the organ originated where? Constantinople, not anywhere in the West. So are all these instruments. So it was actually the Easterners that pushed a lot of this. Okay, most of it. It would have never happened without the East moving to the West. And well, the East weren't able to do much because they were under Muslim onslaught. But regardless, nobody back then had the idea of white European, certainly not Christian culture. It didn't exist. So you can't, if it didn't exist at the time, you can't read your modern invention of white European identity back to those people because they don't share it. And they don't share it today. I mean, I don't see this in any other culture but America. My ancestors, both my dad and my mom's side, they were all barbarians. They were plains barbarians. And of course, they then, just like the Franks, went and attacked a bigger and more civilized and actually very refined culture and took it over. Then they assimilated themselves into that culture. But I mean, that culture has been existing way longer than the barbarian culture. And it was refined for thousands of years. But do I need to claim that culture is mine? No. Yes, I am of quote that race, but do I need to claim that culture because I'm that race? Or, share certain genetics with that race? No. It's absurd. I'm not a part of that. Even people who are alive today weren't even a part of that. But and the Europeans also understand this idea, but it seems like the Americans can't figure this out. Why? Because they're faithless and they're principleless. They would take 80% white Muslim over 80% Hispanic Christians any day. Seriously, go and ask these people. I guarantee you guys, most of them will tell you they will take 80% white Muslim any day over Christians. Do you see the absurdity of this? I hope you do. And again, this is the last time I'm going to address this. I can't believe like I'm talking about freaking Tim. Um, but we wanted an episode on Tim. I'm doing an episode on Tim. Okay, but it's on why it's a thing now in the United States, which is really dumb. I think this is such a dumb topic, guys. I, if I didn't have to make this video, I wouldn't have. But figure I make one of this video where I think I've been super blunt and I think I'm on point today. Okay. I think there's no other reason for people to idolatrize these type of people. It just doesn't make any sense. And yeah, it's a faith deficiency and an IQ deficiency. There's no reason you're this stupid. Now, I'm not supporting people coming to the United States in mass or mass immigration. Okay, it's not what I'm supporting. I've talked about this multiple times. People who come to this nation, almost 90% of them don't want to assimilate. And they come here, they create actually not just that they don't want to assimilate, they create their own culture, their own areas. I think that's completely wrong. You can't go to somebody else's nation and then create your own nation within their nation. That's just fucking wrong. Okay. Um, and it's disastrous. It's extremely disrespectful. There's no good outcome that's going to come from that. Unfortunately, it's happening. We we need to find there's easy solutions for this is to cut off immigration. That's how easy it is. Okay. It's not internal political violence. Okay. Um, but the fantasized version of white America is never going to happen. I'm just going to put it here. Prove me wrong. But again, I am expecting skirmishes potentially, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. Okay? It's too dumb of a thing to ever make. I mean, who sold America to the Kikis? Who sold the exports? Was it the blacks? No. Was it the Hispanics? No. Who was it? It was, quote, white European Americans. So if we start over, and I've talked about this, if we all start over, okay, um, we get all our favorite race back where they are you sure it's not going to happen again? No, because again, this is totally a deranged and humanist idea. It has no spirituality. Okay. And what we're seeing is a worship of race. It's a ancestral worship cult. That's what this is. And in fact, if you look at the Far Eastern nations or all the pagan cultures, a lot of it's ancestral worship. Why? Because they're godless. And where do they go to if they're godless? Go to their ancestors. That's what it is. And we're seeing that being revived in the United States. And we have dumbasses, even in our faith, who are trying to join that stuff. Okay. It's really stupid. It's so stupid, actually. I mean, you understand that. And by the way, I want to address this. I do want to address this. The Bible is not pro-immigration. Okay, this argument. Yes, It does say, specifically to the Israelites that when a stranger dwells in your land, you are to take him in, okay, and make him one of your own, okay? That is completely conditional for those of you who don't know, because I've seen leftists use those verses as a justification. It's because the covenant was with the nation of Israel. So for people to worship the true God, they are to become Israelites. And it was the mission of the Israelites to bring them in. So that's completely, what do you call it? That's completely conditional. You can't be a Satanist and go to Israel and become a part of Israel. No, that's not what those verses are specifically talking about. And it's not going to apply to America in any sort of ways because we're not a theocracy. Okay, it's complete that those verses are completely what do you call it? Conditional. Okay. With that said, um, I know I've been making way too much bonus videos lately, and this November is going to be really busy for me. Um, I don't know if I want to do a Thanksgiving icon giveaway. Um, I probably will because I won't be in town for the 3 weeks of Christmas. And I do want to thank you guys so much for supporting my channel, even though it's just a small meme shitty channel. I will probably do one a week, or actually, we'll probably start next week then. And I'll start a poll in the post section about maybe we'll do a poll on what icons to do. We'll definitely do one for you guys. With that said, please take care of you guys and arm yourselves. Seriously, if you're afraid of this stuff, I mean, I'm not afraid. I don't think any of these guys are really going to do much. Okay. I have my CCW. I always carry everywhere I go. I'm not really worried about, I'm prepared if stuff happens. Okay. And I think every one of you should be. If you're not, I don't know when time's up for you. I'll put it that way because things are happening a little bit too fast. Definitely try your best to arm yourselves or, provide yourself the means to protect yourselves. With that said, be safe. God bless, and you guys have a great rest of your night. Bye bye.